Okay,
Just,
there you
start
go.
talking.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still sitting in the same chair. So all good.
So my usual first question at the second part of the podcast is, what's the role of spirituality or religion in your life?
I mean, okay, so I was raised Catholic. My parents got a divorce, so that was interesting in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
I always kind of felt taken advantage of a little bit in some of my kind of church experiences, especially ones that had like youth worship sort of like services and like bands and things like that. Because I was already playing in the VFW like as a teenager, playing like 4-hour sets, just Tom Petty, we would do everything, but that sort of stuff. Like I was playing like classic rock. Yeah. Well, and so I had a PA and I had a van, I had all this stuff, and it was like, wait, but you wanted me to play on Sunday for no money, and I'm not really sure if I'm even into all this stuff. So I had like a definite aversion to all of it. It's definitely been a process of maturity for me. There was a period of time that I wanted to hurt people around me by saying things like, I'm agnostic or I'm atheist or this and that. I wanted to establish my independence so much. What it came down to is I didn't have the information or the ideas that I could really articulate actually how I felt. And a lot of it came into culmination when my sister's kids, one Thanksgiving in front of everybody, asked me if I was a Christian or if I believed in Jesus or something like that. And on the spot, it finally clicked. It was sort of like, well, I don't really know if I'm a Christian or not. What I would say is that if Jesus came back today, I think he and I would probably get along really, really well. I always try to help people, be nice to people. I truly believe that the secret of life is people being together. It's not being isolated, having our own opinions and choosing sides. So in all that, if that makes me a Christian, awesome. But whatever this modern day version of, having the biggest church and the biggest production and this and that, I don't think any of that has to do with religion. I don't think any of that has to do with spirituality. And that's just my opinion. It's like, I don't want to put it on anybody. I don't want to make anybody feel bad. And I definitely don't want to offend anybody else in their faith. This is for me and me only. And I don't want them, I'm not offended by them either. For a really long time, it was easy to go like, well, they're Christians, so this and this and this are all going to be true. And that was immaturity as well, So I would say that I'm extremely spiritual. I believe a lot of things happen for a reason. I believe in good karma or good vibes or good juju or just being good. What you put out, you get back, a lot of the sort of basic things, golden rule, all this stuff I agree with. When it comes to, sexuality and it being, sort of dictated by something that was obviously written by men and edited over and over and over again throughout the years, I don't think I'm going to listen to that. I think I'm going to stick with the things that I already know. I love people, and I want to figure out a way to make it work. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? So I don't have like one way of defining the way that I feel, but I have a problem with not I don't have a problem with religion. I don't have a problem with assembly. I just have a problem with like organized religion as a business is a huge problem for me. Yeah. And not to say that we can't talk, that we can't be friends, that that doesn't mean anything like that. Yeah. It's just that that's something that I don't choose to be a part of. For very specific reasons. But at the same time, there's so many amazing things that happen in those organizations, and I've had countless conversations about this with my mother, who has very, very strong faith. My father and my stepmother as well, who have very, very strong faith and in their respective religions. But when we had these conversations, I started to realize, like, okay, there are things that I'm missing out on. There are things that my children are missing out on. And so it's really just, it's up to me to figure that out. So, on a Sunday, when I'm finally home on a Sunday, we want to start doing things like volunteering and helping other people and that sort of thing, and getting, what those mission trips do, what those because I did. I grew up, cooking for people at a soup kitchen and stuff like that in Ponca City at this church. I mean, I remember doing it vividly over and over again, and I love that. And I love talking to people about it or whatever. And I didn't have any problem that it was under the helm of religion, but when it was asking me to do certain things, or it was asking me to not associate with certain people because the type of religion or whatever it was, it just, none of that stuff just felt natural to me. And I think I was born at a period of time that I could question those things and not be kicked out of my house. You know what I mean? Like, if all that stuff might have happened earlier, I might have felt a lot more pressure to stay active in a specific church or religion. But I like everybody too much to pick one sort of thing. I pick a lot of small things from each. And one of my favorites is sort of a Buddhist idea, and I'm sure I'm butchering it, but the idea is that you take care of everyone else by taking care of yourself. And it's not meant to be taken as being, this isn't Scientology. This isn't like I'm this great person or whatever. It means that you make proper decisions for yourself. You make healthy decisions for yourself, you know? And only from there can you start to support other people. Because if you start to spiral out of control with whatever it is, if it's addiction or mental health or this and that, and you're not taking care of yourself, you cause giant ripples in other people's lives that care about you, you know? So of being healthy and what that means to you and taking care of yourself and what that means to you, I think you can't really affect anybody else's life unless you're actively trying to do that as well. You know? And you can really negatively affect other people's lives if you're neglecting that. So, as an artist and loving other artists that have been, horribly tormented and have left before their time or this and that, I don't know if I would want to change that necessarily, but it would be nice, to have the opportunity to talk to people about that sort of thing. I just don't think it was very popular, of an opinion to have to say like, well, maybe just be yourself. You know what I mean? And maybe that's okay. And it's tough. I mean, we're always going to have problems, and that's not the secret, to eliminate problems or eliminate struggle. That's the worst thing you could do. Then we just become, an entire world of mediocrity. Like, struggle is good as long as we're making positive progress. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, it does.
Cool.
So at least in the Lips, and I'm done a little bit of digging into colored music, but like psychedelic experience is sort of a big part of what makes not just the Lips music, but just a lot of music in general. What is sort of your experience through at least being involved with the psychedelic style, but also like what is psychedelics trying to communicate?
Man, I just had a really, really interesting weekend up at Alex and Allison Gray's Cosm.
Awesome.
Which was a whole different thing up there, The psychedelic thing, it can be taken in so many different ways, which I think is kind of interesting. And everybody just assumes that we're like whacked out on drugs all the time, and that's how we make the music that we make. Same thing with color music. I mean, like, I guess it comes off as psychedelic because it's an easy way to go like
colors.
Exactly. Colors, and I'm not really sure what type of genre it is, but it's like out there. You know what I mean? Like whatever that is. But that's not necessarily what we were ever really trying to do. We just can't help but sound like anything other than ourselves. And then with the Lips, I'm not involved with all of the recording or anything like that. But what I can say is, like, everybody thinks that, because of the art that Wayne draws and the way that our live shows look, and because of all the chances that are taken in the studio, that, they're these drugged out freaks or whatever. And that's just another thing that I would say to students is like, when you say, oh yeah, Jimi Hendrix, he was amazing, he played on LSD or whatever, it's like, wait, Hendrix was amazing first. He was incredible first. It was incredible that he could play on drugs like that. But that drug did not make him play that thing. I would say that the idea of psychedelics and the way that they can alter your mind and open you up, absolutely. I mean, it's proven. It's totally obvious that can happen. Now, at the same time, it can help you realize that you have some totally serious problems at an earlier age than they might have surfaced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like anything. I mean, I don't think drugs are good or bad necessarily. Drugs are, you know, it's how you use them. It's the type of person that uses them and all that sort of stuff. And I go back and forth on that. I mean, we always kind of say that. There's a lyric in a Flaming Lips song. It's like, legalize it, every drug right now. Give people the choice to do it. I mean, I would be foolish to think that everybody would make the right choice, you know, for themselves.
Sure.
And you can't really know what that is, what that right choice is until you've tried it. But to me, that's life too, man. Yeah. You know, I remember when my son was about to be born and people were like, so you're going to quit color music, right? Like, you know, a lot of drummers were asking me that too. Yeah. They were like, oh, you got to quit the band. You guys need a new drum. You know, it was that sort of thing. But everybody was like, yeah, you're going to quit, you know, because you got this thing to do now. And it's like, wait, well, you know, first of all, what does that say to my kid? Like, if I quit doing the thing that I love the second that they're born, and man, I would hate to end up resenting them because I made this decision that I thought was the right thing to do or whatever. You know, you have a child and you bring them into your life. I think a lot of times people have kids for just a good reason to become mediocre because they were going to be mediocre anyway. You know, they were just going to grow up and be boring. Like, I'm going to blame it on my kids. But you know, I brought him and I brought my daughter and my wife and I both brought them into our lives and they get to be a part of it for a while and we do our best by them and then we kind of put them off on their own to do their own thing and to do that themselves. But the idea was that we took a chance, that we took a leap, you know? We didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah. But shit, man, I didn't know what was going to happen in my own life without having a child, you know? Like, it's the same thing. You don't know what's going to happen next. You try to make the best decision. If you do care about what you're doing, you read a book or you ask some people and you know, most importantly, hopefully you listen to your gut or whatever. And that's the same thing with, if you want to talk about listening to music, if you want to talk about taking drugs or whatever, like, that's what it's all about. It's like, well, I mean, am I in a good spot right now that I want to take a chance or this and that? But I mean, I think maybe you were talking more about the artistic sort of aesthetics of psychedelic, or
but then also like the it's a spiritual revelation.
Yeah. I mean, and I think it's whatever you want to give it weight to be, you know? Like, some people are like, hey, that was a good weekend. And other people are like, that changed my life. Yeah. You know, and you took the same drug and had sat in the same place or whatever. But I think if you're in need of something right then, and you need that to be a catalyst, then it absolutely can be. Yeah. You know? I mean, and we're talking about altered states and enhancement, you know. It's nothing that I would suggest. There's some people I know shouldn't do drugs, you know. And there's other people that would be like, well, if you think you're ready to try it, you should try it. Sure. Do it in a safe place or this and that. But I can't. It's tough, you know, because we were up there with Allison and Alex Gray, and they've obviously had a lot of experiences. Yeah. And it was interesting. The couple of artists that they were interviewing in the 2 days that I was up there, they both had very similar answers. They were sort of like, you know, did psychedelic drugs influence your work? And they're like, nah, not really. I tried it and I didn't really like it, but I do like doing really radical shit with colors and shapes, and you know what I mean? Like, and it lends itself to it either way. So it kind of goes along with the same philosophy I guess I have about religion. It was like, all I am certain of is that I'm not certain of anything, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, I never really set out to be in a psychedelic band. I'm not sure if the Lips even set out to be a psychedelic band, but it's kind of like what you get sort of, I wouldn't even say pigeonholed as, just labeled as, you know? Yeah. And it lends itself to a lot of a crowd that likes to have those experiences. Sure. But at the same time, it lends itself to a crowd of people that just like to be weird for a little bit, you know, or to try something different or this and that. I think it all goes together. But yeah, I personally have never had any like sort of life-changing drug experience or anything like that. But I know people who swear by it, you know, and like, who am I to say, well, because I don't have faith in a specific religion, that means that yours isn't real, right? And the same thing with drugs. Like, hey, man, if you felt that, that's rad. Like, I just have a headache. whatever. Yeah. But, I mean, I have to believe that, you know? If somebody's swearing to me they're telling the truth and I choose to believe them, like, absolutely, yeah. But yeah, psychedelic, the name all together is kind of funny. I mean, because it could be a type of music, it could be obviously a type of experience or a drug or an aesthetic or something like that. There's the same thing with like punk music. Like, is it real punk? Is it new neo? This, whatever. This new psychedelic wave or whatever. It's like just make the music you dig, man. And like critics are gonna have to label it something to be able to talk about it in shorthand and to be able to reference it to other things. Like, maybe don't get hung up on it, but keep making cool shit.
Yeah. I always have these. Well, they're short questions from my end, but just pointed questions.
I don't give short answers to everything.
God? Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I call it God. I call any thought that I have where I don't feel like I'm in control and I'm, personally asking for help. I call that a prayer, and I didn't used to. That was one of those things. It's like I don't pray. But I do all the time. It's sort of, if I don't have control, or if my wife is like giving birth to my child right now, and I need some help, like I'll call that a prayer. I wouldn't before I had this sort of revelations of like comfortability and being like, okay, you know what, like I don't have an axe to grind anymore. I finally figured out how I feel, and then I'm not going to be pushed around anymore.
Sure.
That I'm not going to be persecuted for feeling the way that I feel and knowing that it's right for me. Yeah. So once I got to that point, it was just like, yeah, man, if I'm ever going like, I really wish this would happen, or I love this person so much, I hope they're okay, all that shit, that's prayer, man. Like, and if it's, who am I saying that to? It's like, well, I don't want to come up with a better name, so let's just call him God.
Sure.
It's, and I think in a weird way, we're all that way. We just get locked up. I mean, it's that adage that the devil's in the details, and that's really the details, the tiny little things that are splitting us up.
Yeah.
So we're focusing on those as a people, as a human race. We're focusing on the things that make us different instead of the overwhelming evidence that makes us exactly the same.
Yeah.
But whatever. I could kind of soapbox it forever. But yeah, God, yes, absolutely. Prayer, yes, in some form. Yeah. Whether you call it that or not, everybody does it. Yeah.
Free will? Question mark.
This is Andy Urich, my business law teacher at Oklahoma State, kind of opened me up to this. He said, "Is there really such thing as free will?" And to the best of my knowledge, I would say no. You can't be free to choose something that you don't even know exists.
Yeah.
So if you're not exposed to it, there's no such thing. And if there's a factor of like, and that was another thing that always sort of bothered me with religion, or especially with Christianity. It was like, wait, you mean all those people in Africa that nobody's actually physically made it to them and taught them about this? Yet they're going to hell because they don't know about it. It's like, I don't know. I have to check with Jesus on that one, but I don't think he would be very cool with that. You know what I mean? So it was those sort of things. Like, yeah, I mean, if you don't have free will to do anything, to learn to drive or to do anything because you've never been around it, it's just whatever that is. I would say no, in that we kind of fool ourselves into the fact that we have that. I mean, inner city kids making it to having a full on college education. It's like, well, it's there if they want it. That's not true, man, because we know that it's not just money that gets somebody through college. We know that it's having a support system and having people around you that believe what you are doing is important.
Yeah.
If you're the first person to go to college in your entire family, and every time you come home, people are like, why are you doing that shit? Why are you doing that? Why are you spending that money? You're never going to be any better. Why don't you just come work with me? This and that. It's like, it's all this sort of stuff that goes around it. It's not just the opportunity to do it. So I don't know. I don't know. What's your answer to that? To free will?
No.
Yeah.
And then, because there's enough science to kind of, not necessarily that I know, but it's more like
choose to believe.
It's like be careful how much you're backing up there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But like, it seems to be leading towards the answer being no.
Yeah. I'm with you. I mean, you could make some argument, I'm sure, and we could go hang out at a bar and talk through it and still not get anywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I like to believe that we don't have free will, because I think if we believe like everybody has the exact same opportunity and can do everything, that's pretty naive. And I think it would absolve me of a lot of feelings of guilt that I don't think I should be absolved of. You know, the fact that, like, you know, I'm extremely fortunate. I'm white, a heterosexual male, born in America to an upper middle class family that never needed anything in his entire life. And if I also take the position of saying free will, everybody can do whatever they want, everybody can do what I did, as easily as I did it,
right?
That I can't reconcile with that, you know. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what is good behavior? I like asking about morality, and so, like, what is good and how do you be good? At least in your opinion.
Oh man, yeah, like it kind of goes down to, you know, it's everything you do, even if it's good, it's still self-interested, you know, like that kind of thing. What is good? I mean, I don't know. I think you can't just know it. You have to be taught it, and you have to feel it, even if you're taught the opposite way. You know what I mean? If you're taught to hate, or you're taught to separate, or you know, take sides, or that sort of thing, you have to have a feeling at some point that that's wrong. You know, and I think everybody has those feelings, but some people are more susceptible to be either indoctrinated or not want to upset the person that's sort of teaching them that this thing is right or wrong. Yeah, what is good behavior? I mean, it's kind of laid out for us, right? You treat other people the way you want to be treated. It's only fair, right? Shit, treat other people better than you want to be treated. Yeah, you know, keep working on yourself.
Yeah,
but that's a really good place to start.
Yeah,
you know, that's why religion isn't bad. That's why, you know, not all scripture is bad. It's the tiny little detail thing. The broad strokes, I'm in. You know, for damn near every religion.
Yeah,
and they're not all that different. But yeah, it's just the smaller things that separate us. Like, Baptists can't dance. You know, like, what's up with that? I don't know, man. I mean, that's like one of the freest, most fun things to do. You know, it's like you can dance. Like, you don't even have to own a radio. You know, you can just dance. Like, it's the easiest thing in the world, and it makes you happy. Hopefully,
yeah.
Unless it's me, and you probably shouldn't dance in front of a mirror.
How do we reduce the division that is sort of being created by our current political climate? I
thought a lot about that. I've been thinking a ton about it. I just taught a social media revolution, a class at ACM. It's all about social media, and it had a couple of different components. I mean, I think the component that everybody expected it to have was, how do we navigate this stuff? How do we launch successful marketing plans and campaigns with these different things? How do we get creative with it? And the other side of it was like, you know, is this a good thing that we're spending so much time trying to figure this thing out?
Yeah.
You know? Is Facebook even going to be around very much longer? Like, is this the tool that's really going to sell whatever we're trying to sell? And unfortunately, like right now, it totally is. You know, and some people are great at it, and some people are really terrible at it, and there's everybody in between. Yeah. How do we fix it? We all realize that at some point we have to realize that, like, when we say something really terrible to somebody else on the internet, it's so much more of a reflection on ourselves than it is of that person. And you will never get through, and hopefully never hurt that person, but that's not true either, because not everybody's prepared to handle that stuff. You know? It's been people, you know, especially the exposure between the Flaming Lips and being in, you know, in the Dead Pets with Miley for that period of time. Like, my personal life has been exposed to people I never thought it would be, but I put it out there. You know? So yeah, I definitely had to wrestle with that a little bit, especially having kids and people you've never met before will come up and like comment on your kids or say something to you in real life about it or whatever. And that's a weird thing, but I just, you know, if it doesn't have any sort of like ill will behind it, like, okay, that you may think it's okay to say that, like, whatever. You know, your kid's super cute. And I'm like, hey, let's just not talk about that. Like, you don't know my kid. You don't know me or whatever. but yeah, I've had to deal with that a lot. And the way that I think we fix that stuff, I talked to, or I responded to somebody when I don't usually respond to people on social media. But somebody just said some outright like terrible things that I was just like, this is too big. There's obviously something wrong here. You know? So I just wrote him back and basically said like, listen, I was only trying to support my friends who did something that I thought was really cool. By the way that you responded to me and some of the really terrible things you said in there, I know that your response had nothing to do with me or my friends at all. It has everything to do with your life and where you're at in your life right now. And you should focus on that, man. And obviously, like, me supporting my friends and talking about the cool things that they're doing doesn't make your life better. So don't pay attention to that stuff. Don't give that shit your energy, man. Like, find your passion and give that your energy. Find the thing that makes you happy and makes you a better person, not this person just spewing vitriol on the internet. You know what I mean? So it's going to take people realizing that. I think this is going to be my funny thing. My kids and my grandkids are going to say, what was your legacy? And I was like, I navigated having fucking social media, my entire life for the first time. That's what I did for you. I figured out what to do and what not to do, how to interact with this stuff. What was it? A bandmate always brings us up. Father John Misty made this sort of joke about how kids are going to be like, look at dad with his phone, what a dork or whatever. It's like, man, I hope my kids are that way. I hope maybe my kids are that way of like, God, look at you idiot over there, just like with your head in this box all the time. Like, look at the world. Like, I hope that's what we get back to. But we have to start figuring out how to use the internet to bring us closer together. The thing that it was meant to do in the first place, to share information. I read this really great quote the other day. I'm not even sure who to attribute it to. But it was, great minds talk about ideas. Average minds talk about events. And small or simple minds talk about people. And that's where we're at right now. We talk about people all the time, and there's a difference in like adoration for the art of an artist and then adoration for that artist themselves. And we as artists are brands right now, and I understand that, and I have to teach that for success in this current industry, but that doesn't mean that I have to like it. You know? I like the fact that I don't really know shit about Neil Young, but I like damn near every song he ever wrote. You know what I mean? And that's not true. I know a lot about him, but I don't know that much, I don't know the tattoo of, the shamrock that he got, on his arm the other day. You don't see that stuff, and I don't care about it either. But I really love, his music or whatever. But at the same time, like, how cool is it that if I wanted to, and if Neil Young had an Instagram or a Twitter that like I could possibly get at him, Where you couldn't do that back in the day. If a band was starting out and wanted to open for Neil Young, they'd have to get through a couple of really tough managers to even consider it, and then it would be like, no way. But if you walk up to somebody like Wayne and you see him outside, it's like, can I open for your band? And then you hit him on Twitter and you hit him on Instagram, all this other stuff. It's like, chances are at some point, if you're good enough, if he likes it or whatever, you can penetrate that and make it through and get that word to that person that you want to do this, or just let them know that you exist, and that's cool. I think that's really cool. I mean, almost more importantly, I think for our students, getting a degree is very important. Having that piece of paper, having that distinction that will help you undeniably get paid more. You don't necessarily have to have it to have a career. But what I do think you need to have are mentors, a mentor or a series of mentors, people that are doing what you want to do right now. And you can be around them and bounce things off of it, and hopefully they're active, so they can give you like real great advice on what's happening right now, how they're tackling it. And some sort of perspective. Be like, it didn't used to be this way. I know that all you kids are doing it like this. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like that old sort of codger thing of like, I don't mess with the internet, or I don't do this or whatever. But we need those people to we need our elders to accept, this technology and be like, see, it's cool that it does that, but I'm not going to, and this is why. I love that. Because the second that we sort of separate each other, it's like, well, it's old versus new, or school, old school, new school of thought, or whatever. It's it's kind of bullshit. It's like it's all one school of thought.
Yeah.
Let's bring everybody in, and yeah, you got to learn some technology, and yeah, you got to like slow down for a minute to realize what the hell they're trying to say.
Right.
Can't really remember what the question was.
No, that's fine. Reducing the division.
Yeah, reducing the division. I mean, that's it. I mean, with the internet, I think the world is a teenager right now.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to our 30s.
Yeah,
it's probably the best thing I could say. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, start saying nice shit. Start unfollowing people that are negative or affect you negatively. Matt, the other drummer in the Lips, like he and I are brothers in a lot of different ways. I mean, we work together, we sleep on the same bus, we eat the same meals, we play at the same show.
Yeah.
We're just very, very close.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, I noticed this thing. Like, if I don't look at my phone before noon, my day is a lot better." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, I just don't. I mean, I could open my phone and there could be whatever Trump did today or whatever,
Sure.
and it would ruin my day. Or it would be another school shooting and it would ruin my day. And it's like I wake up, I'm thankful for some things. I have a cup of coffee, I kind of get my head straight, and then I'm able to tackle the world. But like when you're inundated with information that in a lot of ways doesn't affect you. I mean, it's terrible to say that a school shooting in some other state doesn't affect you, or that maybe you don't have a family member that's in the military, so a war at all doesn't really affect you anymore. But it's reality, We're so completely separated by all this sort of stuff. So try and give your energy to the things that you can do good with.
Yeah.
If you're trying to create, if you're trying to bring people together or whatever, like make sure you make space for that.
Yeah.
Because the internet and other people's opinions have found their way, they've pipelined into our lives. But it's it's up to you and me to decide whether or not we want to let it affect it.
Yeah.
So you can't control all the terrible stuff and all the fake stuff and whatever that people put out there, but you can control what you take in and what you give power to. Yeah. So I would say that's how we get better, we get closer, And you teach kids about what you think is good,
Yeah.
There's always going to be somebody about teaching them about what they think is good, and you're probably going to think it's wrong or whatever. So it's got to keep going, man.
Yeah. 3 more questions.
Let's do it. Yeah.
What makes you happy?
Oh man, I have a list.
Go for it.
If I'm eating healthy, I'm happy. If I'm sleeping well, I'm happy. If I'm with my family, I'm happy. If I'm making music, I'm happy. If I'm doing things like having a conversation, it makes me happy. Whether it's with a student, contemporary, or whatever.
Sure.
I kind of lump all that stuff in together because that's. I mean, when it becomes increasingly harder for me to teach, and it does every semester, and to want to teach, it always comes back to that thing of like I learn a lot of times more from students than they learn from me. Like I'm for the most part repeating information that I've learned and updating it and that sort of thing, but they're always coming through with something new, and it's like, oh yeah, this is why I do it. Yeah, that's right. But what else makes me happy? Being happy makes me happy. It's pretty simple, It's like it's not things. It's not necessarily even places. It's like I said, it's people and it's time, that sort of thing. I'm able to spend time with my family, spend time making music, spend time with my bandmates, even if it's in an airport for an entire day.
Yeah,
I still love that. Like be around 1,000 people I don't know and don't care about, but we're all in it together. We're all in that struggle to get home or sleep in our bed that night or whatever it is. And one thing I'm trying to be better at doing, because I know it makes me happy, is being present. With all the things that I've signed up to do, and all the ways that I could keep track of them, and that people can approach me or whatever. It's easy for me to just constantly be working and not really be with my family when I am with my family, or really be on stage when I'm on stage or this and that. So just trying to being present makes me happy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all those things. You know?
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Drinking water. Damn, that makes me happy. Yeah.
What advice do you have for people?
Oh. Be honest with yourself. I think it's the main thing. For some reason, I don't know if it's like the order of child I was, or because I have been through a divorce with my parents and stuff like that. I don't know what it was necessarily, but it always allowed me to be really, really honest with who I am and who I want to be. It's like if I'm screwing it up, I'll tell myself I'm screwing it up, and then I'll fix it. And I love that. I love that quality. Because sometimes you feel like you're out of control or whatever, but if you care enough to fix it, like you may not know how to fix it, but you care enough, so that means that you're gonna start somewhere and end up somewhere better. So to know yourself and make sure you're making decisions for yourself and not so other people will like you, so other people will keep you around or this and that. I mean, if you know who you are, that shines through, and it attracts other people who know who they are. Attracts a lot of people who don't know who they are and who think that you can do something for them or you should do something or whatever. But if you know yourself pretty well, you see that coming a mile away. So for better or worse, if you know who you are and you're trying to get better or want to be a different version or a better version, it's pretty cool. It's pretty admirable. Yeah.
Then last question, quite possibly the hardest question I will ask.
All right.
Cake or pie?
Ooh. Neither, really.
That's a valid answer.
Is that a valid answer?
Yeah.
All right. Tight.
Okay.
Right on. Awesome. I like that
one. So, I mean, normally the second podcast is like a conversation, but like this is the second podcast, but we have a little bit more time to kill. So,
okay, cool.
Do you have any questions for me?
It would have been a cinnamon roll. That would have been my answer.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Anyway, do I have any questions for you?
Yeah.
I mean, I asked a couple of them kind of in between.
Sure,
so we could talk about that a little bit more, but where do you want to go musically? Like creatively, style-wise?
Yeah.
How do you want to perform? All that sort of stuff.
So, it's sort of been solidifying into terms now lately because before it was just more ideas. But like, even though I'm not as into like Frank Zappa, I know that he sort of has this realm of like chamber music, but also performance, and like it's all one thing. And that's kind of been my goal ever since I kind of started being an artist. Is that like whenever I made my SoundCloud or my Twitter or whatever, I was like, should I have like a name of a thing? And I was really like, no.
It's you.
And it's all me. And even through the podcast is that I'm trying to radiate this just genuineness, but also like anything. So
but it's anything that is you.
Exactly.
That
and so
comes out,
so I have like ambient music that I make. I have songs. I'm a songwriter, and I'm working on my master's in composition. So like I have chamber music. So, but it's all still me. Like just because I wrote a string quartet doesn't mean that the songs are any different. In a way.
Absolutely.
And so it really is all me. And my goal at the start of going to ACM was I want to compose music for video games.
Okay.
And I still want to compose music for video games.
Sure. But now I bet it's just one of the things on the list.
Right.
Instead of like the sort of pinnacle.
Because it's kind of all the same thing.
I'm with you.
Like, so if I were to, make music for a video game, that's a project or a job that would be just a whole other part of, like, I would be a part of whatever development studio that I would be with. And making that music, but it's also a part of me. It's still an influence, and whatever they need, it's still a musical thing that I'm creating. And so
that's a fun thing, though, because in a lot of ways it's similar to what I'm talking about. You'll be able to look back and go like, wow, that was a lot of different stuff, but I'm just doing what I'm interested in.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of a lot of artists might get like pigeonholed in like, oh, well, since we make this, then we can't go over here. And
that's exactly right.
Yeah. They lose a lot of, I've been listening, like Linkin Park is an example of like, oh, they started out as this rap rock thing. Mm-hmm. And then as they like merged away from that, people were like, what are you doing? This isn't.
So you can't do this. So this doesn't play by our rule book
exactly.
or whatever. Yeah.
And so I want to start as fluid so that once more fluidity happens, people aren't like, cool. Oh, what are you doing? It's more like, yeah, it's always been.
Well, I mean, and you know, like artists are pigeonholed by other people, and artists pigeonhole themselves too. Sure. A lot of times when they get a little bit of information, but not all of it, right? Mm-hmm. Because you are pigeonholed for a very specific reason, and that's a marketing reason. Yeah. It's easier to tell a lot of people what you're like if we can narrow it down to, you know, a 2-second elevator pitch or whatever it is. But then an artist will learn that, and like, okay, we need to figure that out. Yeah. And we're willing to lose sight of the entire grand scheme of what we're wanting to do just so we can fit in and sell some things or whatever, and so they'll pigeonhole themselves. Yeah. From the beginning, you know, like I was talking about, if your ambitions are aligned, like if you know you want to do a lot of things that are scattered, and there might not be a lot of people that have done that before you, or there are a lot of people, but there may be small circles of people that even know who they are. Yeah. Then you can start to get a clearer idea, like, okay, this is how this goes. Like, maybe I'm not going to make, you know, $1 million off the first thing that I release, and it funds everything from then on, and life is easy or whatever. And then you can start making those decisions, and that's the cool thing about it, because then you're led by what you actually want to do and not what you have to do to get by.
Exactly, and that's kind of why, I mean, because I know I'm going to continue to grow as a musician. I'm going to find different interests along the way, and at least I'm lucky enough to have realized this early enough to be able to go. Like I know I'm not going to be.
When did that happen? Where did that happen?
So whenever I studied at UCO for vocal music education for 2 years.
Cool.
And then because the plan was like, oh, I want to like have music teacher as like a backup plan for whenever I like start doing composition for video games or whatever, because I know that it's difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then my last semester there, it wasn't my last semester, but it was my last semester there. I took history of video game music with now Dr. Hannon.
Yeah, but you had done that. Was that during an intersession or something like that, or does he teach it regular semester as well?
He teaches it regular semester.
Oh, okay, great. Because I'd seen it offered a couple times.
Yeah, cool. Well, it was the first one.
Yeah. That was the first time we taught it.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so I took that and I was like, yeah, I do want to compose music for video games.
Yeah, this is what I want to do.
But I had this sort of nebulous idea of like, okay, so music teacher, composition for video games, and like I had also had this idea because I'd already written songs at that point too, and so I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was music teacher the like, okay, there's my steady, or there's one for the fam, for the parents, or you know that.
Yeah, it was pretty much that.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't like to teach music, because the experiences that I've had through that program, like I really do enjoy teaching music.
Absolutely.
But it became sort of like, okay, well, what am I going to do? And so over time it solidified whenever I came here for music production and started figuring out like, oh, this really is what I want to be doing. It rather than sort of become clearer sort of in a hallway, it sort of became clearer as just like a landscape of things that I could do.
Yeah, that's great. That's the idea. Yeah. You start digging in a little bit and you're like, oh, wait a second. Right, there's so much more here.
Yeah. And especially with the way that the industry is now, it is a lot better to look at it as a landscape rather than as a hallway, because you can be like, I used to play trombone, but like
Yeah.
I could be like the best trombone player ever, but like I know that it's a lot harder to like just be a trombone player.
Just be a trombone player. Yeah, because like, you know, the difference between the greatest and the second, you know, like that might be a long distance. Like the greatest is up here, the second best person is way down below, but the person right after second, there's 300 million people that are exactly like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and not to be a capitalist or, you know, whatever, just worried about money, but you know, how much money does the best trombone player in the world make?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And if that's what you want to do, that one thing, like that's a lot of concentration on one thing. I'm interested in too many things. Yeah. You know? So yeah, I like the well diversified portfolio. So.
Yeah. And it's funny because as soon as I graduated high school, I was like, my goal was kind of I want to be an artist. Like I want to be a musician, I want to be a singer or whatever.
Yeah.
Voice is my primary instrument. And so like my favorite band was and still is Radiohead. And like
cool.
Graduating from high school, I was like, I want to be Radiohead.
Yeah. But that's it. Like we pigeonhole ourselves early on because we're like, I want that. I want that thing or whatever. You learn a little bit and it starts to explode and you go like, oh wow, okay, I'm actually more like them now than I was when I only worshipped them. You know what I mean? Like when they were the only thing I wanted to be, I knew the least about them.
Yeah.
As artists, you know?
Yeah. And so being Radiohead in a way seems like a more feasible option now that I have all of the other options too.
Well, I mean, and the number of things that those guys do in different ways and things, some you hear about, some you don't. Some are critically acclaimed a year later when a film comes out, you know, all that sort of stuff. you start to figure that out and you go like, oh, okay. So it's really about having a lot of irons in the fire, doing everything to your best ability, of your ability, you know. But only doing things that you're interested in, because we know that doing the opposite just doesn't. I mean, unless you absolutely have to do it to pay the bills, which there's a period of time. For me, it was about 15 years of doing that type of stuff until I could support myself off of music. But I was always, you know, slowly chipping away at night to get closer to that thing. But I mean, I think you really said it in the fact that it's like, it didn't narrow down. It didn't get easier for me to figure out what I wanted to do. It got easier for me to accept the fact that I'm probably going to be doing different things all the time. Yeah. I mean, just from that, you know, like you asked me kind of the things that I did, and I've forgotten a lot of them. You know, I've just remembered a few of them in between. Stuff I've even done this summer, like jumped into promotion and promoted my own dance party with a former student, actually, Augustine from Morales from well, you know him, right? So he was in the production department up here as well. But, I mean, it like a month ago, that was my life. You know, like everything I was doing was to promote it and make sure it came off successful. And we're planning the next one now. But, you know, if you asked me in a month, like what I did this summer, I probably wouldn't list it because it's just, there's a lot of other stuff that happened as well. So that's one amazing thing about iCal is I can go back through it and go like, okay, so my Dean review is coming up. Like, what did I do in the last year? Like, okay, played this such and such a festival, played this TV show, promoted this party. You know, you start to go through it and collect it, and you go like, oh wow, I don't give myself enough credit. You know, I wake up every day and compare myself to a couple of thousand different people that I see come across Instagram, and they all accomplished something today or yesterday or something huge in their life, and you compare yourself against it, and you're like, man, I'm not doing anything. And then you get a bit of a retrospective, and you're like, oh, what did I do this year? Oh, okay, looks pretty good again. You know?
Yeah.
You gotta make sure that you don't compare yourself to other people too much.
You're right. You know? It's kind of funny. I mean, like right now, I'm sort of keeping that at bay because, like, I'm still in school, and so I know that my time is mostly being put into that.
Sure.
And so, like, oh, I could be doing this. But it's like. Just
priority number one is like graduating, getting like doing good work in school. Absolutely. Resting when you can, and any spare moment spending on your career. You know?
And so, but there's still room for fun stuff.
Dude, there's so much room. That's one thing I can't tell students enough is that you'll never have as much time as you have when you're in college because this is the hardest thing you've ever done to date. You know what I mean? So you can't know possibly what it's going to be like to have a 40-hour-a-week job and on top of that, spending all day and all night trying to make your career happen. You know. Now, don't get me wrong. I know a lot of students work full time and go to school.
Yeah,
but they don't work full time and really put in what it has to happen, what the amount of hours that have to happen for you to have a career in it. They weren't doing that before they came to school.
Yeah,
you know? And they want to go to school to make it to where they don't have to work as hard. And I get all that. I totally understand it. All I'm saying is, once you work all day and you're tired, you don't want to work as hard at night on your passion, and it will slowly dull your reaction to that passion, you know?
Yeah.
And you start a lot of times finding ways to drum that passion out, you know, to make it, I mean, maybe it would be easier. Maybe it would be easier if I could just remove this chip that was like, well, you're an artist and you like to do stuff.
Yeah.
That you don't know how to do, and it's probably going to cost more money than you make off of it. If I could take that out, that'd be kind of cool. You know, like if you could just take it out and go like, what's this going to be like? You know, it's like a lobotomy, you know, but I've joked about that before. Like, why am I doing this again? Like, oh yeah, it sounded cool, and now I'm in it, and it's like really, really hard. And then after it, and you got to tell yourself when you're in that spot, like, next week when this thing is over, when like you've done it and you can assess it, did it go well, did it not, whatever, you're still going to be happy that you did it, you know. And that's what I have to tell myself when I'm in the middle of that stuff. So right now, tell yourself, like, I know I'm in it, and it seems like I can't do anything else, but I have more free time right now than I'll ever have, you know. Getting out, and oh man, I mean, I got out of school out of OSU, and I worked for Emu for a while before they went out of business. But you know what I'm talking about? Emu,
I'm
like
not sure.
Emu Modular was like the first like modular synthesizer.
Oh yeah.
One of them. But then they went on to make like the legendary Emu SP12, SP1200. It's a sampler, you know,
Cool.
it was used in hip hop and stuff like that. But I mean, tons of electronic music, just extremely influential. But by the time I started working for them, they were kind of chasing the market instead of leading it a little bit. They were trying to release, you know, a USB interface when FireWire was the thing, and then by the time we launched it, USB 2.0 came out, and FireWire didn't even make sense. We were working on a FireWire thing, so kind of writing was on the wall a little bit. But I was working with some of the most brilliant people and really putting all my time in, but I was trying to tour at the same time, you know, and when I was working 40 hours a week, even though it was flexible and they'd allow me to tour, I was sitting at a screen working with Pro Tools on a Mac, you know, and beta testing whether it was keyboards or these interfaces, or I was doing a lot of sound QA, so that we'd release like sound banks and I'd listen to them for pops, you know what I mean? Just like after being in front of an interface or a computer and, you know, working with music all day, I didn't want to go home and do that any longer. And I started to realize, like, man, when I didn't get to do this all day long, I hungered for it at night, you know? And now that I have to do this, like, maybe it's a little too close to what I'm doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that, you know, they went out of business and made that decision for me. It was the day that Color Music opened for the Flaming Lips at D-Fest in Tulsa. I was gone loading in and playing the festival, and all my buddies came to the show that night. They were like, they walked us out, man. Like, it's over. Like, they're giving us equipment. Like, we don't have jobs anymore. I'm like, whoa. Well, okay, I really like doing this, so I'm going to keep doing that. Yeah. It's kind of a perfect time. You know?
Yeah. I do have, like, I guess one more question. Aiden McCool had asked me this, but, like, how do you deal with it all? Like, how you organize it, or how do you just keep track of it?
I mean, that's a great question. I've spent, you know, the better part of 2 or 3 years trying to figure that out. My best answer to date is this is actually given to me by Derek Brown, who's I mean, for one thing, one of the people I look up to the most, because if anybody thinks that I'm busy, they got to look at that dude. You know what I mean? Like, but this came from him, and I was like just struggling. I was just like, man, I don't know if I can do it all. I really do want to teach and play in the band and do this other thing and this and that or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you do this all? Because, like, I think I'm busy, and I know you're way busier than I am. And you said you just got to do what screams at you. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you know, a lot of people really, really need something immediately or whatever, and you get back with them and you never hear from them again or whatever. that's not that big of a deal, obviously, you know, or maybe you don't get back to them and you never get another email, you know, you never get anything from you. It's not that important to them. You know, maybe the email sounds like it, but they have no follow through and they don't actually need that from you. And then other things like it has a deadline and, you know, your job depends on it, or
sure,
you're playing a show tomorrow, you need to rehearse tonight. You know, those sort of things. Just take it as it comes, and when you see something that really bums you out, try not to look at it, you know? Like, I'm definitely expanding on it now, but, you know, I'll take breaks from stuff. And it's cool because the people that I talk to about it, like Ryan, for instance, you know, I'm in a band with Ryan, and he also works with me at the school. And if he sends me something that, you know, he's thinking of for way down the line, it's like 6 months out or something with the school, and I don't respond to it, he goes, cool. I know it's not that important. It's not that important to him, so it shouldn't be that important to me. That's not really the way that most people work, though. You know, they're like, give me this, I need this, I need this, I need this. Oh, wait, okay, it turns out I don't need it. You know, like that's what most things are. So you just get a little bit better with your barometer of like, all right, what's sink or swim, and what, you know, doesn't need to happen today.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at prioritizing it. Well, I'm really good at prioritizing things. I make everything a number one priority, which sucks, you know. And it works you into a place to where you're your best self for people who you care the least about. Does that make sense? So when you get home, you know, you've given away everything, you know, every nicety and every, you know, great thing that you could have done that day. You've spent it all on other people. And then you get home and your family gets to find out that you're just kind of an asshole because you're doing things for other people all day and you didn't save any of yourself for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you do what screams at you. You start saying no to stuff. Start saying no to shit.
Yes.
You know, don't take shit and don't do shit. And what I mean is, like, don't do stuff that you don't want to do. You know, be really honest with yourself about it. Is this a narcissistic thing? Am I doing this only so, you know, people will see me or this and that? Or is this really going to make me happy? And that goes back to that earlier advice of knowing yourself. But be able to say no, have fun saying no, say it in a nice way. I blame it on my wife all the time. I'd be like, well, I promised my wife I wouldn't take anything else on, you know. And that's a real thing, you know. I definitely did. But if it's something I really, really want to do, it'll make its way through. You know, I'll do it. You know.
Yeah.
So be organized though.
Yeah.
You know, like I was 4 minutes late up here, and that bugged me. You know what I mean? But you're the type of person that, well, you texted me like right as I was parking or whatever. Like I'm on the 4th floor. Just you were thinking about like, oh, this is the thing I care about. I'm glad this person's here. I'm gonna tell them exactly where I am because sometimes you're in another room or whatever. It's that sort of thing, you know. You know, like you want to work with certain people. I wanted to do this with you because I knew it would be awesome. I wouldn't.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be this thing of like, you know, what's your favorite color? You know, it wouldn't be that sort of stuff.
All of them. You're in a band called Color Music.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to pick one. So committing to things that you believe are worthwhile and listening to people from time to time too. You know, it's one of the things like. You know, with our recent days, is like, yeah, we should respect our elders. We should listen to them. But at the same time, we should also listen to our youth. You know, like, yes, you were a teenager once, but you weren't a teenager today. And to say that your teenage life 20, 30 years ago is anything like today, you lost your damn mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? we can't have any clue what our teenagers are going through right now. And I have a little bit of a clue because I meet them a few years, you know, after when they come in as students and start going like, whoa, okay, that's cool. But you're here with me now and like it or not, you're going to learn something, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, at some point, you know, your kids are going to be able to come back and teach you something. So being open to that as well. So, yeah, my thing is, all right, secret to doing a lot of stuff. Do what screams at you.
Yeah.
Learn to say no and listen to people from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be so easy to just go like, nope, I know how that's going to turn out. Not going to do it. This and that. If somebody goes like, you should really check this thing out though. Or you should really listen to this person. Whatever it is. Or if they just convince you with, you know, with themselves, you know, the way that they present themselves, the way they handle themselves, the business that they do, the things that they've done before. You might take a chance on something that you would have unilaterally ruled out before. So, yeah, stay open.
I like that.
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. I mean, this is fun. It's therapeutic anyway, and it's cool to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, and I think hopefully it's valuable to whoever is listening to this and not just us.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get one thing, I'm happy.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking kind of fast. You can go back and listen to it again.
Yeah, that's a great part about it. I mean, no lie. I mean, I've learned so much about this industry through podcasts, and not directly related podcasts. I mean, one of the ones that I listen to religiously is a WTF. You know, What the Fuck with Mark Maron, and he's constantly talking to industry people in there. You know, and that stuff crosses from industry to industry. You know, whether you're a comedian, you're a musician, or whatever. What they focus on there the most, whether it's whether, I mean, I think Mark's cognizant of it now, but at the time, like when they're in the interview, the things that they're discussing are like human nature. And it's so interesting. Yeah. But it's human nature mixed with this really ego-driven business, you know? So it makes it so insanely interesting, in the decisions that people make, and how some stupid decision turned out to be this triumphant thing, or you said this tiny little thing that ruined your life or your career, whatever it was. You know, they chase down this sort of chain of events of like, wait, so you decided to be a stand-up and then you didn't move anywhere, you just did it, you know, in the area or whatever, and you started getting advice from these people that were coming through. Like, everybody's story is totally different. And the only common thread that I can draw through all of them is that these people did rather than talk, you know, whatever it was. Like, as long as you get busy doing, instead of sitting around and talking about it, or more importantly, talking shit, you know, like that weird thing that happens. This is another thing. This will bring us closer together on the internet. That weird thing that happens, that like when you feel insecure about yourself, instead of going back and practicing or doing better or spending that time and effort helping yourself, you like to level it by bringing other people down with you. That's an illness, man. Until that goes away, or people realize it in themselves, like, it's going to be a tough one. But I'll take the doers over the talkers all day long. You know, like, how many times in your life have you decided you were going to do something you knew nothing about? You know, and at the time it was like, and then you get in it and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, I don't know how to do this. And then after, you're really proud of yourself, you know? Having all the answers or knowing exactly how to do it, all that stuff's overrated, man. And just because you went to school for it doesn't mean you're going to know how to do it, you know? It just means that, especially with a bachelor's degree, not a master's degree, but a bachelor's degree, it means that you can teach yourself how to do things for the rest of your life. And if you thought that the end goal was just to get a piece of paper to get a job, and you didn't really learn anything at all. You know? But, yeah, you know, with a master's degree, you can start to attempt to master something, you know?
Sure.
Yeah, that's the idea. But a bachelor's degree, it means that, I could probably teach myself to do anything I want from here on out. Hopefully.
Learn something new every day. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Dude,
again.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.
Where can we find you and your things?
Okay, so, and the last one, what did I say? If you go to flaminglips.com, if you go to colormusic.net, or if you want to buy our new record, you can email info@colormusic.net, brothersgreen.com, and that's our DJ sets, our parties and stuff that we throw.
With 3 eyes.
Yeah, with 3 eyes, that's right. Burryloop.com is this international dance party that I was talking about a little bit earlier, that started with Augustine and Waylon Clark. There's something else that I'm missing, I'm sure. Whatever. ACM, check out ACM. Come find me here. I'll meet with you. I'll talk with you. I'll do whatever. It's just, I like to do that stuff. So it's pretty easy to get a hold of me.
And then I'll do the normal outro. I'm Santiago Ramones.
You gotta do it. I'm Nick Lay.
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I make music. You can download, buy, whatever, pay money or not for my demo, which is Songs with Words. And you can download this podcast. You can listen to it through Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, or on Stitcher. Spotify doesn't get back to people about the podcast. I guess
it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they just started doing it, so
yeah.
They're just doing larger names at first.
Sure.
Which bring more people to the subscription service. So it makes sense. But soon I imagine just like they finally opened up the artist side. Where you can change your picture and do all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, that'll come from podcasts after a while.
Right.
Spotify is a tiny company, so I'll go off on a tangent. This, but it's a really small company.
Small.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, and on all of those things, Apple Podcasts, YouTube and stuff, you can comment, leave ratings and reviews, and that stuff helps, and helps me to know what people think of this program that has been going on for more than a year. I always have my podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.